Hello, this is Peter with another video. Today I'm going to be featuring these two avocado trees which I recently bought. Now these actually came a few days ago, the same day as the Fuerte avocado that I recently showed a video of, but they came later in the day before I had a chance to film them. I didn't make a video back then because there was some question as to whether these are actually grafted or not. So these actually came from Plants for Presents. And a few of my friends bought some of these avocado trees as well. Those of you that follow Brett might have already seen, he posted a couple of videos about these the other day. My friend Louis and Amala, they've also bought some as well recently. And we all had the same kind of question, were these actually grafted? Because they were sold and listed as grafted on the website. Now if you first look at the label, you see it's come from Italy. It just says Persia Americana from Italy. There's nothing on here to say any kind of variety, which isn't completely abnormal for European nurseries. A lot of them do put the species on and forget to, or not bother to put the actual variety on. At a quick glance, quite nice looking plants, especially this one on the right has a nice form and shape to it. It's nice and bushy. This one on the left is not quite as bushy, but does have a thick stem on it. Now I'll get to why I wasn't sure if these were grafted or not. So if we have a look on this one here, down on the stem, so right near the base, there's no evidence of a graft. You come up here, we have this side shoot, which I'm guessing just a regular rootstock side shoot there. It does have some markings around it, but I think avocados do get this kind of scarring around where the side shoots come out. Now here you might think this is a graft, and at first glance I also thought the same, and it could be, I'm not sure exactly. I was a little bit dubious because usually these nurseries will use kind of the same graft on all the plants. They'll use a very simple technique, maybe a cleft graft or some kind of budding technique. And I do have my other avocado does have a different type of graft on it. I'll do a close-up of that later in the video, but this to me looks like it could be just, they've grafted onto it or cut it here and it's branched out. Now it does have a scarring around the bottom there, which does match what some of my friends' avocados look like as well. But I have also seen regular seed-grown avocados get this scarring when you've cut off the main stem and they branch out. So it doesn't look like a chip bud, which is another type of graft I've done before, and I'll show a close-up of some chip bud grafts I did on my bacon avocado. So I'm not really sure if that is a graft, what type of graft it is. It's definitely not a cleft graft, and as I mentioned, it's not a chip bud either. Now I've asked Plants for Presents if they could try and find out a little bit more information for me. They've said they're going to contact their supplier, where they got these from, to see if they can supply some more information. I'm not sure, by the time this video goes out, maybe I will have heard back because it was a couple of days ago, but at the time of recording I've not heard anything yet. So my friend Louis, he messaged Plants for Presents as well and asked to see some photos, because they mentioned on the website that some of the plants were coming into flower, and they sent him over a few images. I'll just put one or two of those images in here, and you can see that there were a couple of plants that did have some flower buds on them, so those must be grafted at least. And we did also see some close-ups of some of the graft unions on a few of their plants, although At least one of them looked like a cleft graft. It was a very obvious cleft graft, but this certainly doesn't have a cleft on it. Let's have a closer look at my other one here. This one's not as bushy, but it does have a much thicker stem on it. So you can see here at the top, it's where they've cut off the stem and it's branched out. Come down here and we have another section which could be where they've grafted it potentially, but it's very scarred if you look. So my initial thoughts was that this was actually just a wound or damage and it's branched out above that, but could this be a graft union, or is it just some stem damage? I'm hoping some avocado experts might be able to chime in on these two plants. If we look at the top again, could this be a branch? I'm thinking it's just a side shoot, just like these, and it's just become the main stem here. Now overall, you know, we've got very thick stems on it and there's lots of buds starting to develop on them, so I am quite happy with the plants. It's just, it would have been nice to have official confirmation and a more obvious graft union on them, and ideally a variety so you knew what type of avocado it actually was. If you look at these two plants, they do have fairly similar leaves, although this one does seem to have more wider leaves on average than this one. Set this lower down, some of these lower down branches, which could even be from a rootstock. Hard to say exactly if there's a graft on here or not and where it actually is. And the same on this one here, you've got most of the leaves on top are quite wide. Some of the older ones a bit lower down are more elongated. I did break off a leaf from each of these plants when I got them and crush them up, and I could smell a very strong aniseedy kind of smell, which indicates that it's they're both from a Mexican strain of avocado. Whether it's a pure Mexican or some kind of hybrid, that remains to be seen. So whether they're seed grown or grafted, they do seem to be a Mexican type. I had a little look on the website of the Italian grower, and they listed a number of different varieties, including the regular Hass, which the leaves definitely don't look like Hass to me. Also, the new growth hasn't really got that much red fleshing in the new growth there. It's more kind of green. So yeah, there's not too much of an indication there, but I think they listed that they had bacon, fuerte. I think they also mentioned zutano as well. So I'm wondering if this might be something like a zutano, possibly a bacon, although I don't recall the leaves looking like this on my grafted bacon. They didn't look quite as ribbed as this, and quite as wide. You can see it's quite windy today. I have to get these back in the greenhouse again so they don't blow over. I'll just show you a couple of other examples of grafts on my other avocados in the greenhouse, just for comparison's sake. Okay, so first off, this is my bacon rootstock, and I did some grafts on it myself. I grafted some reed avocados, chip buds on here, so these are chip bud grafts. You can see when you do a chip bud, you get this little flap, so you get this obvious scarring around the chip as well, and then the little bit where you took it into. I've still got parafilm wrapped around that one, so you can't quite see it. But yeah, that's what a chip bud typically looks like. Now obviously I'm not an expert grafter, there'll be people that'll be much better at this, can probably get a much neater graft. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything like that on either of those two trees, so I don't think it's a bud graft, or at least not a chip bud graft. I know there are other budding techniques. Now this tree has a cleft graft here. This is the bacon variety at the top, which is not looking very good, but you can see an obvious cleft graft here. If I turn it round, this side is the side where it's flush against the edge there. Now this one here is my Fuerte. You can see the graft union on this one. It's cut at a diagonal across the stem there, and both sides match. So it is a very neat graft on this one, but you can see it is an obvious graft union on it. So yeah, that's the two other avocado trees I recently got. It would be nice to find out what variety they are and if they actually are grafted. So if there are any experts that can tell me whether those are grafts or just wounds and side shoots, it would be good to know, because as far as I can tell, I can't see any obvious graft unions, at least using the typical techniques that I'm familiar with anyway. But yeah, overall the plants themselves look very healthy, which is a good sign, and the fact that they are a Mexican type of some sort, we don't know exactly what, it would be good to find out. But yeah, it is good to know that there's some hardiness potentially in them. But yeah, I'll definitely keep everyone updated if I find out any more information about these. I might even pin a comment in the comment section if I find out definitively what they are after this video is made. But yeah, just thought I'd do this video for comparison with some of my friends. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell, and I'll be sure to keep you all updated with how these avocado trees get on. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.